him then made a tremendous impression on the country when he was a child. He has known more adoration and certainly more sorrow than most. Here's ABC's Kevin Newman.
It was on his third birthday that a restless John, as we knew him then, turned to salute his father's coffin as it went by. He had recently honored his father, too, by giving his first plane, not the one missing, a registration number using his father's initials and birthday, 529, May 29th, JK. There were happy memories, too.
He had this desk in the Oval Office, which belonged to a sea captain. And it was made from an American frigate. And I just remember the inside you could climb around in, and there were kind of cavernous spaces in it. And we used to go
remember crawling inside?
Yeah, and just hanging out there. And he used to give us chewing gum because my mother didn't like us to chew gum. So we used to go over to the Oval Office at night, and he'd feed us gum under the desk.
After the assassination, hoping to give her children as normal an upbringing as possible, Jacqueline Kennedy moved John and his older sister Caroline away from Washington to an apartment in New York City. But once again, tragedy followed. The man who would become John Jr.'s surrogate father, Robert Kennedy, was also assassinated just months before John's 8th birthday. 4 months after that, Jacqueline Kennedy married Greek shipping tycoon Aristotle Onassis, and they moved the family to a secluded private island. But she bowed to pressure from the Kennedys, and John and Caroline completed their education in the U.S. Unlike his father, who went to Harvard, John Kennedy Jr. graduated in '83 from Brown University and later from the New York University Law School.
Good luck today. Thank you.
The spotlight followed him everywhere, even on his first day on the job as an assistant district attorney in New York.
When I failed the bar exam, that was the New York Post had the headline, "The Hunk Flunk," so some of that I could actually do without.
He was always on the move, seeking new adventures. His father had once said, "A man does what he must, in spite of personal consequences, in spite of obstacles and dangers and pressures." Well, in spite of the press, John Jr. tried to live as normal a life as possible, last seen here in public Thursday at a Yankees game.
Ladies and gentlemen, meet George.
In 1995, he decided to join the ranks of the popular press by launching a magazine that covers politics. His mother, an accomplished editor, was at first lukewarm to George.
I think we showed her in mock cover, and she was a little skeptical. But I think that she had always encouraged both Caroline and I to make our own way, to not subordinate our own lives to the expectations of what we should do with our lives. And so in that respect, I think she got a kick out of it.
John Kennedy Jr.'s name came with a heavy burden, but in life, he has always chosen to bear it lightly.
People come up to you all the time and say, I got into politics because your father brought me in there, or, your Uncle Bobby meant an enormous amount to me, especially being in from New York. And that's a great, very warming legacy to be a part of, and I'm grateful for it.
He is, in the minds of many, America's favorite son. Kevin Newman, ABC News, New York.
John Kennedy and Carolyn Bessette were married almost 3 years ago, and she was thrust into the most glaring spotlight. Here's ABC's Judy Muller.
When Carolyn Bessette married John F. Kennedy Jr., a family friend said, "Jackie must be smiling in heaven." Indeed, the 6-foot-tall Carolyn, with her elegantly simple sense of style, reminded many people of Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. A Roman Catholic whose parents are divorced, she grew up in the upscale community of Greenwich, Connecticut. After graduating from Boston University in 1988, she briefly pursued a modeling career, then worked as a public relations executive at Calvin Klein. Her wedding to the Crown Prince of Camelot on a secluded island off the coast of Georgia was a well-kept secret and left the gossip columnists scrambling for details.
I think you have to say the world's most eligible man is no longer eligible.
No sooner had they said their I do's than they had to beg the paparazzi, please don't. To the photographers who'd camped on the sidewalk in front of their Manhattan loft, John pleaded, please give Carolyn all the privacy and room you can. But despite the new bride's hopes for privacy, she soon learned what it means to be a Kennedy, to be in the public eye, to be part of an American legend. Carolyn has identical twin sisters, 18 months older than she. One of them, Lauren, was aboard the plane with her. The last time she'd been with the Kennedy clan was for the funeral of cousin Michael Kennedy, who died in a skiing accident. Carolyn had become very much a part of that family. Judy Muller, ABC News.
Somebody today referred to the Kennedy family history as the Trail of Tears. When we come back.